Good morning, everybody. Today I am going with my family. We're going to see some friends and we're going to have lunch together, which is something we haven't seen people and have lunch with them like in many months. So we're going to do that today. It's a big celebration. So I am supposed to bring the salad. And I'm going to make a salad that I've been kind of toying with for the past while. And it's a variation of the soba noodle salad that I have in the book. But it's a greener version that I'm making with the odds and ends that I've got with my fridge because that's just, how I work. But I have been testing soba noodles quite a bit now for a while because I find them really pleasant for many reasons. So soba noodles are buckwheat noodles. This is the sort of packaging. Look, I've cooked them so that you can see. Wait, let me bring you to my sink. See, these are soba noodles, all right? And what they are is buckwheat noodles. Usually they're not 100% buckwheat. There's gonna be like half buckwheat, half wheat. They don't take very long to cook, and compared to, say, rice noodles, they're not entirely gluten-free, but they're probably more nourishing because there is the buckwheat. But it's the taste of the buckwheat is not overpowering, so it's good. Like it goes with many things. And compared to the rice noodles, they're not as sticky. You know how rice noodles, if you've made rice vermicelli or noodle salads, like rice noodle salads, they tend to like get sticky after a while. As soon as you drain them, like if you don't toss sesame oil or some oil in them, they end up sticking. Soba noodles aren't quite like that. They're much nicer in terms of the texture, I find, and they lend themselves really well to cold salads, which is why I included that in the book. And I love a good cold noodle salad. Now the recipe I've got in the book has a definite kind of Asian feel to it because I use, a lot of kind of Asian spices and condiments and stuff in the dressing, but I'm trying to make a kind of greener version that's a little bit less focusing on the Asian flavors. So there's no ginger in this one, for example, okay? So I'm gonna make the salad because it's amazing as a side. So if you're going to a friend's house or you're having a barbecue, like this is something we used to always do in Dubai. We'd have like big, great get-togethers. There would be a barbecue and then people would bring sides or salads or whatever. And I was always the salad queen. So this is a perfect salad for that. And it's also really good if you are, say, oh, my son has just taken out his iPad. So he's having breakfast and thinking he's doing a video, I'm doing a video, so he can just take out his iPad and no, eat your strawberries. Okay, sorry about that. Yeah, it's also a good salad to have if you're doing a quick dinner. Like if you want quick weeknight dinner, perfect, because you do this and then you add grilled chicken or tofu or whatever and it make it a meal. It's amazing. Okay, so let's get to it. Now I've put some water to boil here. I'll tell you the ingredients I've got, okay? I want it to be green. I want it to be spring-like and fresh. So I've got asparagus that I've started cutting up, okay? So I've only got like pieces of it, but I wanted to tell you something about asparagus, okay? I'm sorry, I cut this too soon, but this is what it looked like was when it was a whole, you see? Now, the thing with asparagus is that depending on the type of asparagus you've got on hand, the bottom can be more or less stringy and rough, and you may want to cut a bit of it off or a lot of it off. And you know how I test? I just bite into it, right? So, here, I can really kind of bite into it, and there's no fibrous, nothing. So I know that I just need to cut the tips off this one. If you bite into it and it's stringy, what you can do is try to peel it with a peeler, a vegetable peeler, and then try again. And if it's still kind of not very pleasant, then just throw out the end. Okay, so this is a really nice asparagus because I don't need to waste a lot. So the way I cook it is I blanch it like really quick, and I start with the stems because they're a bit, you know, they can take the heat for a little bit longer. But like, you know, I keep them for maybe 30 seconds. Then I put the tops, these beautiful things, right? These are so beautiful. They're kind of purpley green. They're wonderful. And I put those real quick, not long, because I want them to stay crunchy, like soft cooked, but crunchy. And I know they're ready when they start looking bright green. So let me show you this, right? They're starting to become a little bit more bright green. So that of 1 minute or so, I'm gonna have to put those soba noodles in some kind of bowl. I'll put it in a transparent bowl, and then I will show you what I'm doing with these noodles, okay? So, these are pretty much okay. Let me just test it, and you start smelling, right? Like, I start smelling the smell of asparagus. That usually means they're cooked, okay? Like, they're as cooked as I want them to be. The water starts going a bit green, like, that's good. And then I will just let the water, the cold water, you know, rinse it off. Like, I cool them down so they stop cooking. The other thing, a little hack with the asparagus, I always keep the elastics on the asparagus because it makes them easier to chop, you know. I forgot to tell you that before, but you know what I mean? So if you keep the elastics on, you know that you're not going to be scrambling around with the asparagus kind of falling everywhere. So I always keep these on. And if you ever want to cook them whole, always keep these on and make them, like, take a very tall pot of salted water and you plop these vertically, and the elastic keeps them together, and make sure it's a big heavy bunch so that it stays there. And then like that, the bottoms cook well, and then the tips just cook a little bit at the top because the water doesn't go over the tips. So that's my little hack. All right, so soba noodles, all I'm gonna do with them, I'll put them here so you see them properly. Let me lower this camera just a little bit more. Okay, so what I'm gonna do is I've got this very light sesame oil. Now, I wouldn't put dark sesame oil here because I don't want it to have an overly strong sesame taste. And I'm just gonna toss it. Now, if you don't have a light sesame oil, because I know those are harder to find, then use like a good quality peanut oil, because that works well too. And it's like, as far as the vegetable oils go, I think groundnut peanut good quality oil is probably one of the better ones from what I've read. And I'll just let that sit. Like I said, these are not as sticky as the rice noodles, so you won't need to, like, you know, they won't like automatically stick, but still having a bit of that sesame oil is nice. Then I'm gonna I've got 3 limes. I'm gonna zest 1. These are organic, so I can zest and not be afraid to like absorb all these, you know, chemicals that are bad for your hormones and whatever in your system. So I zest this real well. It smells wonderful. There. So I don't use a zester. You know, there's like those microbladers and zesters and stuff. Like, I just find this so useful, and it's done in like, whatever, 20 seconds. And so I put the zest of 1 lime in there, okay? And then I'm gonna toss this a little bit, okay? Like, just like so. I like working with my hands, so I'll just do that. So it's gonna have that, you know, kind of citrusy lime taste. Then what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna make the dressing. So the dressing is so key, right? When it comes to salads, I find it can really, especially noodle salads, like it can really set the tone. That's why, like, when you use like a very Asian dressing, like that's why I didn't put ginger or like strong sesame, because then you automatically get this wonderful Asian taste. But I tend to always, you know, do that Asian taste with noodle salads, and I wanted something different. So I'm doing this lime zest one. That's going to be really good, and I want it to be fresh and bright, and I want it to go well with all the different vegetables. And the reason I'm making it citrusy is because I'm going to be slicing some avocados in there, and avocados always do so well with limes and citrus. So there you have it. So I'm just squeezing the juice of 2 limes, and to that I'm going to add some of that oil. So like I said, either very light sesame oil, like this one, if you saw the color of it, it's like, it looks corn oil color. You know what I mean? It's very light. Or if you've got a ground nut, that's really good too. So I'm gonna put some of that. Now I'm going to put in here a little bit of soy sauce. I swear to you, it won't be a spicy Asian dressing, okay? I'm just putting a little bit of it. Let me find it. Right. Okay, so I'm gonna put a little bit of that just to get a bit of salt. So I've just put like literally a tablespoon, and that's pretty much it, okay? Then I'm gonna cut this wonderful avocado. Pray that I'm gonna open it and it's gonna be nice and bright and green. Oh, thank God. I hadn't thought of that. I was like, uh-oh, what if it ends up being this ugly, rotten looking avocado? All right, and then I'm gonna slice this up pretty thinly. There we go. There we go. And then I'm gonna put it in there. And then if you've got other green vegetables, like I've got a few kind of like these kind of local beans. I've spoken about them before. They're not fava beans, but they look like edamame. And they taste mild and very nice. I'm gonna put a few of those, but you know, if you've got edamame, put edamame. If you've got little green peas, you blanch them and you can put those. Blanching is a great thing to do with these types of spring greens, because I feel like peas and even like green beans and asparagus, all these guys do really well with blanching. You want them to have a little bit of bite and a little bit of crunch, but you want them to be bright green and not soggy, right? So there you have that. Another little hack I wanted to show you, and people who've been watching me for a while know this already, but herbs. Okay, does it ever happen to you that you have herbs that are like dead, you know, like and these ones are a perfect example. See, like this cilantro is like very soggy. I'm gonna leave this cilantro in there, so I'm not gonna make it now. I'm not gonna cut it up now, but when you've got soggy cilantro, parsley, basil, dill salad, right? Soggy salad, you know, when they're not like, it's not rotten or anything. It's not, the leaves aren't brown, but they're just like, you know, like this. Soak it in water for an hour and it will revive big time. So I'm gonna put this at the very last minute. My mint though is looking pretty darn good, so I'm gonna dry it and cut up some mint that I will also put in the noodles. And then it will be pretty much done, right? So this is a very fresh salad. It's very kind of light. I feel healthy just even making it. You know what I mean? I feel light and bright and healthy. So cut up the mint. I don't put a ton of mint because mint is like one of these, you know, herbs that are quite strong, and you don't need to put a lot to have that really pleasant minty taste. And anyways, mint doesn't have this amazing texture, you know, it has this kind of weird kind of texture. It's not smooth. So I cut it up really finely, and I don't put a ton of it. Unless I'm making maybe a tabbouleh, and then I'll put a bit more, but even then it'll be in very, very, very small pieces. But you would never want to like put it in an electric chopper or mixer because then it would just get black, right? But you need to do it by hand, but you have to cut it up like pretty finely. So there you go. I'm going to put my asparagus. There we go. Beautiful asparagus. And I'm going to mix this up. And I'm only going to put a bit of the dressing now because we're not going to eat it right away. It's going to take, you know, a couple of hours. So I'm just going to put a little bit of the dressing, a little bit more asparagus. And when my cilantro is back in business, I'm going to put some cilantro. So there you have it, guys. Really simple salad. Amazing side, amazing for barbecues, amazing for dinner. Okay, what else do you want from a pasta salad, from a noodle salad? And it's super healthy, super healthy. Can I show you so that you can see it well? See, isn't it just, it's just pretty. It's like fresh, pretty. It's just sort of stuff. Love it, love it, love it. All right, so that's it for me. I'm probably going to be doing a Zoom class soon. So if you've bought the book, you get a free collective kind of Zoom class with me where I go through a meal, either from the book or some variation of something that's on the book, so that we can make it together and your dinner will be done on the day you make it. And it's all done in an hour. And yeah, so if you have bought the book, know that I think the next one is going to involve some kind of soba salad, something with something on the side for dinner. And otherwise, if you're interested in participating in one, I can just send you a link and you can just kind of get it separately without the book. Let me know, just reach out. Thank you for watching. If you like this video, please press like and share it. And if you want kind of any more inspiration on anything really related to recipes, cooking, dinner, meal ideas, please go to wellmama.com, WELLMAMMA.com, and subscribe to my newsletter, and yeah, you can find out more. Have a great weekend.